If y'all don't mind, I'm gonna voice record. I'm thinking about. I'll probably have to figure it out later, just to how to switch it from voice to video. But I asked about the calendar because there's a. If you Google dividend calendar, you should be able to see all of the upcoming dividend plays for that month or just for the next day, the next trading day.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I know. I'm like an advocate for TD Ameritrade. I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. It's just a brokerage that I recommend.
Over Fidelity, you're saying?
TD Ameritrade and Thinkorswim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when you log in, like after you make your account with TD Ameritrade, you'll see like the calendar for splits, for dividends, for earnings, and all of this stuff. Like it's all on the. I guess you can call it like a dashboard. Yep. Anybody here that don't trade, I pretty much know like Jermaine and Thea already. So, anyway. Welcome everybody.
Good morning. Good morning.
How you feeling today, man?
Man, I'm good, man. How y'all doing?
I'm good.
Good.
Blessed and highly favored.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I just figured I'd open everything up a little bit early so we can kind of get acquainted and, settle in.
Cool. So everybody in here invest? Actively invest?
Trying to bring some more people up. I guess they don't see it or just don't want to. You already know what I do.
Yeah. I just pinged a few people.
Okay. I pinged everybody I could.
Yeah.
Let me see. I went overboard.
We can all ping 2 people, even those that are not moderators.
You can ping. Too. Yeah, you can ping whoever. Oop, you know what? Here, let me make you a moderator. Ping as many people as you want. What's up, sir? Sir Splash? I don't think he can hear us.
So, Arthur, you have YouTube videos as well?
No, I've been planning on making some. I might end up making some for 2021. I have a YouTube, but it's just more so just, I wouldn't call it like vlogging, but it's just like me just on there just talking pretty much. Nothing.
Hi, Jazz. Hey, what's up, man? I don't know. My drip was acting crazy.
It's good now.
What's going on with my shit right there? Hold on, bro.
Yeah.
I invited my friend Jessica and Alana. Hi, ladies. Some stock market stuff going on.
Okay.
Excited to learn today.
Okay. Anybody here that like doesn't have a brokerage account or doesn't trade at all? Invite to speak. I'm gonna keep inviting people to speak. I want this to be as social as possible.
I don't have either. I'm actually still trying to learn.
Okay.
My husband does it, but I find it kind of complicated.
What about it is complicated to you, or do you see as complicated?
What'd you say?
What do you see about it that's complicated?
Like I'm still. Are you talking like trading forex?
Anything regarding taking control of your finances with the financial markets.
Oh, not just trading forex. That's just what I was just when you said brokerage account. That's what I assumed you was talking about.
Well, a brokerage account is pretty much like a bank account that you control the money to. So you know how banks lend out money and trade with your money all the time, and you probably get 1 to 3% of whatever interest that they make off of your money, So that's kind of, brokerage account is kind of just cutting out the middleman and just giving you full control of your money.
Oh, no, I never heard of that. See, this is why I'm here. I'm here to listen.
That's cool. I'm going to go through like the basics. Excuse me. I'm going to go through like the basics of pretty much like what a brokerage account is, how to set one up, what I recommend, and so on.
Okay.
And just basic, what is a stock, stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. if y'all want to talk amongst yourselves, y'all can. We got about 10 more minutes
Okay.
before I get everything started.
So I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Are you primarily like a short-term day trader?
Yeah, in and out on a daily basis. Yeah. Wow, what's up?
Okay. See, I'm the opposite. I'm a long-term investor, so
Okay.
I'm kind of trying to venture into those waters.
Yeah.
Of the short trade.
Yeah.
So
It's and it was so funny because this guy was I don't even know his name or if it was a guy or a woman or not, but he was saying how investing is dangerous too, and I understood. I didn't have him like elaborate, but I understood what he meant. It's because you already know what the stock market is used for. It's not for the individuals; it's for the company to raise money. So he was just saying that how to like analyze these companies and if they can be good one year, they can be bad the next. Everybody knows the story about GE and how their dividend they got removed off of what was it, the Dow Jones last year or was it this year? And so you just gotta in my eyes you still just gotta kind of take your money whenever you can and put it into something else and just keep rolling that money into something else to grow your account. But again, I day trade anyway, so that's kind of my mindset when I look at the stock market. So.
Yeah, I first thought I wanted to be a long term, and then I started watching the programs and reading and seeing what you guys were doing. I'm thinking, well, I'm looking at it more so for a swing trade, keep something for a couple of days, get my profits, and move on to something else.
Mm-hmm. Mm. For those that are like new to the stock market, can you kind of elaborate on what swing trading is for them?
So I assume swing trading is holding on to something short term, whether it's a day, week, or perhaps even a month.
Yep.
So what companies do you guys use to trade your stocks? Like Fidelity or Robinhood?
Me,
I have Fidelity.
Yeah, and me, I recommend TD Ameritrade and Thinkorswim. I started out with Robinhood until I realized like the downfalls of Robinhood versus what the other brokerages and companies offer. So if anybody ever asks me that question, I'm gonna point them straight to TD Ameritrade. But it really just depends on you. And here's another thing too that I kind of want to touch on. You can have as many accounts as you want to. You don't have to only be with TD Ameritrade or only be with Robinhood or only be with Fidelity. Like you can have as many accounts as you want to as long as you're able to manage them. It's completely up to you. That's why I'm trying to advocate people to take full control of their money as much as they can now.
Me, I personally use Webull, but I highly recommend TD Ameritrade as well. And I'm at the first of the year, I'm going to be switching all my stuff over to TD because I really like the Thinkorswim app. And but Webull has been good to me. The chart, they have good charts. You know, they got pretty good tools. It's a little more user friendly to me.
Yeah, 100%.
As far as if you're a beginner, but I personally like Webull or TD Ameritrade.
I thought about having another one because I read where it talks about how many stocks you can sell within a week, and if you had another account, you didn't have to really worry about that rule.
Yeah.
That's Robinhood.
That's all of them actually. That's a
really all of them.
Really was it SEC or FINRA? That's kind of it's kind of a protection for people that are day trading so that they don't overtrade, and I kind of speak about that a lot in my Facebook group that you don't have to trade every day. Even if there's an opportunity that you may miss, it's best to just miss it, learn from it, and be ready for the next one. So like I said, you're taking full control of your money. So that's what it is. It's just being patient and waiting for an opportunity.
FOMO is a real thing, and it can have real consequences.
Oh yeah, I miss out on stuff all the time.
Now, that's really frustrating for me when I was a few stock that I missed out on. I'm like, oh my God. And I beat myself up and I say, Marsh, don't worry about it, right? It's going to be another opportunity. So every day it's a new opportunity. So that's why I had to change my mindset with that.
Quite literally, it's hundreds of opportunities out there. You just have to find them.
Yep.
You know,
I think that's a good point too. I'm sorry, Jermaine.
Yeah, some of them are more visible than others. You know, everybody know about Tesla and Amazon.
Yep.
You know, but you know, there's hundreds of companies out here. There's so many companies that hit their 52-week highs this year, hit all-time highs this year. Like, those ain't the only companies that's winning. It's plenty of them out here. Don't ever feel like you missed the boat on one of them. You know.
It's tens of thousands of stocks in the stock market. You can't trade all of them. It's impossible. With no matter what no matter what size account you have, you can't get in all of them.
Can't get them all.
If you had that, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's a good point. A lot of people that I coach and work with have FOMO, and I don't think we talk about it enough as like educators. But like that it's okay. Like telling people that it's okay if you miss out on something because something else is coming. I don't think that's emphasized enough when it comes to that, because a lot of people are scared to get in or even start because of that as well. So I think highlighting that is very important.
I think that's the best selling point. That is always an opportunity every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we have that in anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So many opportunities. On green days, on red days, it don't even matter.
Yep.
Yeah, I got to get better at selling. I've never really sold any stocks, but I definitely would like see, I guess, how to set that up. Does anybody like follow any suggested like YouTube videos or on selling stocks? I normally just buy stocks and hold them.
What are you saying? Like, when would be a perfect time to sell?
Well, yeah. I mean, I still can't. I've never sold. I've only bought stocks and held and sold. So
okay.
I want to actually start, shorting stocks.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. That's
sorry,
what I was gonna ask. No, it's fine.
So I've been trying to find some pretty. I know there's a guy I follow, Adam Khoo, Khoo. He's really, really dope.
Okay.
But I need to actually get some more knowledge around just shorting stocks.
Yeah, it's so there's a bunch of ways to do it. How I do it now, because just because it's a little bit cheaper, I buy puts on stocks that have options and just go from there. And I'm a technical trader, so everything is pretty much up and down to me. It looks like it's up and down to me. So if I see something can't break past a certain point, I buy a strike or buy a put on that strike and just ride it on the way down until it stops going down and sell it.
Okay, bet.
Yeah. I'm going to be making, if you follow my Instagram and get on my YouTube, I'm going to be posting videos about the stock market as much as I can next year. So definitely follow up on that. I can go into more depth on videos.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out like the profit when you buy an option. I'm still like confused about it. And they have a little app within Fidelity that would help you find out what your profit and loss is, but that's even still confusing. So I'm still trying to learn about the option.
Are you saying before you actually buy the contract or what?
Yes, I'm talking about before I buy a contract.
Okay. Yeah. So again, Thinkorswim, TD Ameritrade is pretty much the only platform I know, because that's all I trade off of. But before you submit your order for the contract, either if it's a long or a short, if it's a call or a put, it tells you your defined risk and reward before you even send the order. Is that kind of what you're talking about, or you're talking about?
Yep. It shows it to me.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but I had the same thing. And what I did was I Googled options profit calculator, and you can put the type of option,
Oh,
and it
okay.
will tell you what your break even or what you will make. I think is that what you're looking more so for?
Okay.
To try to figure out how much money you will make on that option. If you Google or go to optionsprofitcalculator.com, they have it where you can put in the stock symbol and you can pick the dates for your options, and it will tell you what it will cost you and what will be the profit if it's successful. So that might be helpful to you.
Yeah,
Because I had to do the same thing, because I was like, well, how are you all determining what your profit is? And the way they have it set up, I was able to read it a little better and get more understanding of what was going on.
What was that website again?
Optionsprofitcalculator.com.
Options
I'm gonna
profit
try that one
calculator.
because
Okay.
Fidelity does have it, but I think it's a little bit more advanced, and it's so much to it. It's like, oh my goodness, I just needed break it down a little bit better for me, and then I can go to the more complicated way of looking at it.
Okay.
Did you say optionsprofit.com?
If you Google options profit calculator, it says optionsprofitcalculator.com. But if you just Google options calculator, you'll get something that will give you that data that you're trying to see, so you can understand this is how much it's going to cost, and this is the potential of the money I can make.
Okay, appreciate it. That's a really useful tool, because you want to know as much information as possible going into a trade before you even purchase the contract. You want to kind of know what you're getting into as much as possible. If that makes sense.
Data is king.
So someone mentioned something about being more of a long-term person, and then someone mentioned that they wanted to do more day trading. I'm kind of in the middle, but I have a question for you all, because I'm trying to set some goals for 2021 in terms of these are the rules that I'm going to have for stocks. And my question to you all is, at what point do you determine if you want to purchase more? Because I have some stocks that I bought like a share, or I bought 10 shares, and now I'm like, man, I'm up 120%. Why didn't I go back and reinvest? So maybe if you all could kind of help me or tell me at what percentage of gain do you say, man, I might need to go back and reinvest some more because of the way that the growth is moving. So that's what I'm trying to narrow down.
We getting advanced in here. Okay. Jermaine, you want to go first, or?
Yeah, typically once I've identified first I identify if the company is a viable business.
Yeah.
Once I've done that, then I try to identify a buy-in price. A lot of times, people ask me, "What's a good stock to buy?" And to be quite honest, the answer could literally be all of them. Depending on when you buy it. That's the better question. So if I'm looking at a stock and I feel that the stock is overbought or it's overvalued, I typically wouldn't buy then. I would put it on my watch list and wait for it to dip down to a price where it's more of a value to me. Whether that's a 5% dip, a 10% dip. If I'm already into a company and they're up and they're increasingly going up, then I may want to wait for a slight pullback, maybe 5%. Anytime I see a company that I own dip, I'm looking to buy. Now, depending on how far they dip, that's really up to you. Like, that's really up to you and your knowledge of the company. Like, if you look at a company like Tesla, Tesla is a volatile company. So Tesla, realistically, Tesla could drop 5% in a day. It can drop 10%. It has wide swings. Other companies, the swing isn't as wide, but that goes all in the research that you do on your company. If you hold in a company, then you've been watching it, so you kind of have an idea of how it moves after a certain amount of time. But I typically wait for pullbacks and dips. Those are the opportunities that I buy more of that company.
And the news as well too. Mostly all of the stock market is based off of news. Like, they could be good one day and they could be taking a hit the next day. I wanted to ask, like, was there a particular stock that you were thinking about when you asked that question? Dana?
It's not a particular stock, but I've just been kind of noticing. So these Facebook groups, what I had to do was kind of pull back or scale back because all you see is numbers and you're seeing money and you're like, well, why am I not doing that? So I was like, forget that. I have to figure out what's best for me. And so I started looking at the stocks that, I had heard from groups here or there, or I put a little money. And I'm like, man, these stocks have really taken off. Why didn't I invest more? So it's just more so, trying. For me, my goal is more long term. I like dividends.
Okay.
That's my thing. I like dividends. I want somebody who's going to continuously pay me for being an investor. But I also want to be able to have some free cash or to make more money. So that's why I'm like, well, what are your tools for when you decide, man, this company is really taking off. Maybe I want to invest a little more. So like you said, things can swing and dip, but it's just like, well, when do you look at something else and say, man, this might be the right opportunity? Like, what triggers or what metrics do you all see that say this might be the right opportunity for me?
Okay. Yeah. For me, I'm just gonna say for me, like with Apple, I bought I think it was like a $300 maybe $400 contract. I believe I don't want to look on my phone right now because I'm recording, but I believe it's about 2 years out. From my knowledge, I'm new to options, so I'm as far as like the benefit of options outside of the underall like profit that I would get from the trade. Like if there are any dividends or anything like that, I wouldn't know about it because, like I said, I'm just buying the contract for the profit. But I normally just look at it from a technical standpoint, like Jermaine was talking about before, like the dips, and how long you're gonna hold it, because you kind of already have an idea of like what you want to do anyway. So you would just have to pretty much dig deeper into like analyzing. I can go a little bit deeper into it as far as like analyzing fundamentals. Do you know how to read like the SEC filings or how to even find the SEC filings for the companies?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So you know about like the 8K and the quarterly earnings and everything, right?
I am familiar.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I guess it would be pretty much up to you then.
Yeah, I'm a fundamental guy. I'm big on fundamentals. The fundamentals tell me everything I need to know, and the chart just confirms what the fundamentals tell me. When I look at a business, I like to break down a business. I look at the balance sheets. I look at the company's 10K. Every company has a 10K or a 10Q, the quarterly reports. And what I'm looking for is increasing revenue, decreasing debt. I'm looking for increasing cash flow. I'm looking for any moats that the company may have. A moat is a barrier that protects it against competition. So, for example, a moat could be financial. If I look at a company like Apple, Apple has literally $1 billion just cash sitting to the side. That's a moat. That's why Apple's able to close down their stores for 6 months and they can still beat earnings. I look for decreased companies with decreasing debt. These are certain fundamental checklists. I like my companies to have those boxes checked. Once I identify a company that checks those boxes, next I look for a good buy-in price to enter a position in that company.
Can you dig a little bit deeper on your checklist?
Yeah.
I also like to add to that question of where are you doing your research? So where are you getting the research on the companies to find out if they're decreasing, increasing profits? Like where do you gather that information at? Or do you put it all together from other sources?
You can basically find that from the company's 10K report. You can get the company's financial balance sheet. And it'll tell you their revenue growth year over year, quarter over quarter.
Chanel, you're on the phone right now, right?
Right. I am.
Okay. Is there any particular? I'm gonna walk you through it like right now. So, is there any particular company that you're thinking about?
I I didn't have one in mind. I've never heard of the term moat, and so I was like put into I'm texting Jessica, who's also in the group chat right now. I was like, that's something new I learned.
Okay.
But also like, how do I find that information? Like,
Yeah.
where do I get
So
that type of information?
So if you want to follow me, you can kind of do it right now. But I go to the SEC's website, sec.gov,
Okay.
and I scroll. I'm on an iPhone, so it's not like desktop. Then I go filings and then search. It's company filing search. It's a system called Edgar, EDGAR, and you just type in the ticker and go from there. And all of the information that most companies that are listed on an exchange, they have to pretty much tell the investors what they're doing. So that they file SEC filings for the investors to read it and then make a discernment. Like Jermaine says, he reads their financials to see if they're increasing on a yearly basis. If you see a decrease, you know that the company isn't doing as good as they were last year.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I like this question. I know for me, I like to buy a lot of penny stocks, so I'm more of a short to mid-term investor. I don't have much experience in dabbling in long-term investments, but with short and medium-term investments, which means I'm buying a stock for a day, trading in the same day, or holding it for a week or even a couple months. And again, these stocks are penny stocks, so they're priced under a certain point. Normally for me, that I like to buy stocks that are 10 to 20 cents. But I also I know ahead of time how much I'm willing to invest. So for me, I don't necessarily add money when I'm in a stock. So I don't buy more in a stock. I'm going to buy the most shares when I first purchase the stock.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
That's $2,000. That's $1,000. But again, it's also knowing my entry price. So I'll give you an example. There's a pharmaceutical, and I really only trade pharmaceutical companies.
Biotech.
So you can trade maybe three or four times in a year, and probably 10, 20, 30 times your money versus trading every single day. I mean, but it's all dependent upon what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, JAGX, if you type that
I just traded
in, or that's JAGX.
Yeah.
This is a company that actually, when I first started trading, it was at I think it was like $1, and it dropped from $1 all the way to 30 cents when I found it, and I put it on my watch list. And for another 2 to 3 weeks, it ran down from 30 cents all the way to 10 cents. Mm-hmm. And so that's when I bought in at 10 cents. I think I put $400 or $500 in it. And then it went from 10 cents back to 30, 40 cents. So again, for me, I held it for a couple months, but again, just kind of watching the movement, because before I trade anything, I always watch it for 2 weeks. That's just what I do. That's my personal routine, to see when it consolidates, when it goes up, when it goes down, and then I'll trade the stock. And one of the things, like I said, is knowing my exit point. So I know, if it if it's at 10 cents and it was just at $1 maybe a couple months ago, then maybe I want to jump out around 40, 50 cents. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say it'll run back to $1, but it most of the time stocks go back to where they previously traded to at some point. Mm-hmm. You just don't know when that point might be. So that, hopefully answers your question, Dana. In my, in my own experience, that's what I personally do.
It did. Thank you so much for that.
I like how you mentioned watching it and putting it on your watch list. I tell people this all the time, too, that you can trade a handful of stocks, like he said, 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 times a year and get rich off of it. Like, you don't have to go and chase a stock that's running up or anything like that because somebody mentioned it to you. You can have a set list of stocks that you always trade and just keep it at that. So if you're kind of thinking about having a dividend play in your portfolio, you can allocate maybe, like he said, I normally never trade with anything more than $500. That's just my risk management. So you can allocate maybe however much you're comfortable with to just either day trade with or to kind of build up your account along with those dividend plays.
Does anybody have anything they're currently looking at or watching, just so we can kind of maybe have each other updated on some good possible plays?
I'm looking at PayPal right now.
I've been looking or listening to the Square purchasing title, but I've also been noticing that like a lot of, I guess, big music people have sold their masters, which kind of makes me feel like something is coming, but I just don't know where to begin. But it seems like to me that and EV, like those are the two things that I'm really watching.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at EV. I'm in NIO right now, EO. I'm looking for an entry point for Tesla. Get in on Tesla. It almost hit my price a couple of days ago. So hopefully we get another dip this week. I can get in on Tesla. I'm looking like she said, the EV sector. I'm looking at fintech sector, PayPal, Square, and I'm always looking at the technology sector.
Cool. I'm looking at, and I just jotted some of those down. I'm looking at JAGX again.
Yeah.
So again, this is what's today? Saturday. So Thursday it dropped 30%. So that's a really, really great. I don't want to buy at 72 cents, but what I think it might do is I see some consolidation around 50 to 55 cents. So I think that's kind of where it's going to consolidate for a while. And I believe that at that buy price, running back up towards $1, maybe 50 cents to 80 cents, that'd be a nice, 30% gain. So that's on my watch list. And I'm looking at a couple others. I'll go through my TD Ameritrade account in a second.
Does anybody set price alerts for stocks, or do you kind of just have your eyes glued during the trading day?
I started setting alerts myself. I'm with what is that, Dominic? I have that JAGX.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I got in when I shouldn't have. So I think I got in when it was 87 cents, I believe. Something like that. So I'm hurting on that one. And then I got into MVIS.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It went up, and then it came back down on me. And I should have got out of it, but I didn't. So I'm waiting for it to recover.
Okay.
I set price alerts, and I do have the NIO, Jermaine, that you were talking about, and I have Tesla as well. I got in before it went up.
Right. I'm all about keeping things as simple as possible. A lot of us are, kind of new to investing, so I don't want to overwhelm people. Price alerts are your friend. Watch lists are your friend. Once you identify a great business that you want to invest in, put on your watch list, find a good buy-in price, and set an alert, and you don't have to watch it all day.
Yep.
It makes things more simpler.
Yep.
That's what I'm all about. Keep it simple as possible.
Best position is no position.
And if you have Fidelity, it's an easy way to set it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I use Fidelity.
Yeah, because I get excited, when I hear one, because I'm thinking it's good news, right? So, and it just pops on my phone because I have the app.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I use Robinhood too, but I'm going to check out TD Ameritrade.
Yeah, TD Ameritrade is definitely so much easier to trade with. I have Fidelity and TD Ameritrade, but Fidelity is more of a retirement account for me. So TD Ameritrade is like 10 times better just because the fluidity of trading as you get, a little bit. I mean, I day trade. So I don't mostly day trade. I don't necessarily invest for the long term, but if you're doing like shorter trades, much better for me.
Can you give me any detail, like be specific, like what's the difference? Because I have Fidelity, thinking about Ameritrade?
I mean, it's basically your personal preference. You know, you shop around, you test them out. Like, I have a TD account, I have an M1 Finance account, I have a Robinhood, I have a Webull. I just got these accounts just to like test out their platforms and which one I prefer. Personally, I gravitated towards Webull when I was first starting out, and I've been with Webull ever since. But I do like TD Ameritrade because they have educational videos for things that you may not be as knowledgeable about. You know, they also have the UPMA account for kids, what I'm interested in. So I'm looking to transfer all my stuff over to TD. And like I said previously, the Thinkorswim app is real useful when you get into like options trade and charting and stuff like that.
Yeah, I totally agree. TD Ameritrade, I've been with them since I think they bought out somebody, was it E-Trade or Scottrade? I used to have Scottrade. And actually I like Scottrade better, but they bought Scottrade out, and obviously had to kind of learn how to use Thinkorswim. But just the user experience is better to me in terms of being able to trade and, like he said, have learning resources, as well as have educational videos and all sorts of good stuff. It just looks better, it feels better. Fidelity, to me, I prefer them with retirement. They have, to me, a better conservative platform, but a trading platform day to day, I couldn't do Fidelity personally.
Did you have the Active Pro, Dominic?
No, I didn't have Active Pro. For the most part, like I said, I've traded on there, but I didn't have Active Pro. Mostly for retirement, so I've never used that particular one. So maybe I should just try that just to see how it works. But TD is pretty good.
Yeah,
Are any of these that you all mentioned fee free? Because I think that was the draw to Robinhood. Because I have E-Trade, but they cost to trade, so I started using the Robinhood more because it was free.
Yeah.
About the ones that you all mentioned, which ones of those are fee free?
Mostly all U.S. brokers don't charge commissions for stocks anymore. Now, you may have to pay, I think, pay 65 cents per contract for on TD Ameritrade and Thinkorswim, but as far as just buying the underlying stock, there's no fees for it unless it's OTC. OTC, they still charge for OTC stocks. So pretty much all US brokerages are free.
So how do you
commission free.
Because I'm on Webull and they don't allow you to trade.
Say it one more time.
How do you buy OTC stocks?
Get a platform that lets you buy them.
What's a platform that lets you buy?
TD Ameritrade, Thinkorswim.
E-Trade.
That's another plus for TD because Webull
Yep.
let you trade OTC stocks.
Yeah, Robinhood was like that too. I never understood why. Either that or they if they do like a reverse split or something like that, it just gets suspended on the platform. I don't know why.
Right. I also prefer TD. I also prefer TD because TD allows me to set trade and stop loss on my trade.
Yep.
Where Webull, they don't allow me to do the trade and stop. They don't allow me to stop loss.
It kind of sounds like you're talking in a cup right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Y'all can't. Oh, okay. Hold on. Can you hear me now?
Crystal clear.
Much better. Okay. Yeah, TD allows you to do what's called a trailing stop loss. That I like to employ on my trades. And that's something I can't do with Webull. So that's another reason why I'm going to switch over to TD Ameritrade. And like I said earlier, the UPMA accounts that they have for your kids, those are great accounts. So
get them trading early, man. I got one for my daughter. I'm as soon as she turned 10, she's gonna be right there next to me trading with me.
Right. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Facts. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess if y'all run this like every week or something, but yeah, I definitely want to stay tuned, stay locked in. I would love to, you know what I'm saying, just have, I don't know if y'all use Telegram or Discord or something, so we can kind of get more daily activity, you know, for any alerts or anything like that. I mean, I mostly trade, like I said, penny stocks, but you know, I still want to be tapped in. So
Okay. I just created this this Clubhouse within the last couple of days. I have a link tree on my Instagram. I'm gonna connect my Facebook to it as well. And because what I do is I have a paid group chat on Facebook, but I still post a lot of like free information and tips like that and stuff like that on my Facebook. So I'll make sure to put my Facebook on there too, on this link tree through Instagram.
Yeah, I was so excited when you said you were going to do something different. So
I had to.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm with Dominic. I strictly like the penny stocks myself. And Dominic, you should download the Active Pro on Fidelity. I think you'll really like it.
I surely will. I'm about to do it right now.
Let me see. There we go.
Right. Yeah, me and Arthur talked previously about, you know, collabing, doing something, you know, like a podcast type thing.
Yes, I gotta talk to you about that. I have 2 people for next week that I'm gonna be doing a podcast with. So inbox me. Just hit me up. I should text you I'm gonna hit you on Facebook right now and give you my number because I'm trying to. I told myself that the next opportunity I see in regards to like just spreading education, I was gonna hop on it. And sure enough, like a couple weeks later, Clubhouse came out, and I'm just like, yeah, this is the time. So
cool. This Clubhouse is clutch, man.
Yeah.
It's clutch. It's basically a podcast. Basically like a podcast where people could ask questions.
6-0.
So
Yes.
I'm definitely on this Clubhouse vibe.
I love Clubhouse. I get intimidated easily by a lot of stuff, but I like at least the rooms and the club in it.
Like this is my first time actually like speaking on Clubhouse. So, you know, but you know, on the day to day, you know, I have an investment group. So they're gonna be coming in here.
Yeah.
When we doing this, they'll be coming in here. I have an investment group called the 9 to 5 Investors. And we basically long-term traders. And, you know, we get together every week. We have Zoom meetings once a week, every Sunday. You know, we break down our strategies, you know, our stock picks for the week or whatever just transpired in the previous week. So I'm definitely looking forward to 2021. Stocks all year, baby.
Yes, sir.
Question a little. It's not off topic. It's very on topic, but a different type of stock is real estate investment trust. Does anybody invest in REITs?
I have not.
And a little bit extended from that, ETS. I know I'm flip flopping, but if anybody has experience with real estate first, and then we can switch back to regular kind of stocks like ETS.
No, that's fine. I want to talk about everything regarding the stock market, so I'm glad you brought that up. I have a real estate friend of mine. I ended up finding him from cold calling, looking for a realtor. So that's all he buys, and they are actually great dividend plays. Somebody was talking about dividends not too long ago. They are great dividend plays.
Dividend kings.
Yeah,
what was that you mentioned again? Because that's up my alley.
REITs, real estate investment trusts. But you'll have to like do your own homework on. It's the same thing. Still got to do your homework to make sure they're a good company and they're constantly profitable every year. So, but yeah, REITs are great dividend plays.
Right. The reason why they pay such great dividends is the profit. They REITs. It's real estate, so they don't invest the profits. They don't reinvest their profits in new products. Mm-hmm. They don't have any new products to like spend money on and develop. Mm-hmm. The profits get directly split between the shareholders in the form of dividends. That's why they're able to pay higher dividends than companies like Apple or Microsoft.
Yes, sir. I'm actually
I
glad
missed
you.
that. Can you guys give that ticker?
No,
symbol?
it's just real estate investment trusts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like a whole nother category of stocks.
Yeah, it's a whole asset class in itself.
Yeah.
Mm.
And ETFs, I don't trade. I don't play with ETFs too much. Looking to get into them, but not right now.
Yeah, I'm a diehard believer in ETFs. You know, as far as like, especially like beginner investors, I always recommend. You know, you can always start off in the stock market. Just grab you a couple ETFs. Everybody aware what an ETF is, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So you could just, you know, if you're not, a lot of people, because I run into a lot of people, they're beginning, they're trying to get into the market, and they may not know how to research a company. They may not know how to track a chart, but they want to get in. ETFs is a great way to get in. You could dollar cost average ETFs. You don't have to wait for a specific buy point. ETFs always go up, so you just buy them consistently every month. The ETF is a collection of a lot of companies, so you don't have to focus on just the growth of one company. It's built-in diversification.
Sorry about that, Jessica. Whenever you're ready, just unmute yourself.
Yeah, so me typically, my strategy, my foundation is my ETFs, and then from there, I go to my individual companies. I always buy my ETFs every month.
Okay, that makes sense. So, can you like dig a little bit deeper on that? So, whatever your ETF is composed of, you see what they're investing in and kind of pick out your favorite?
Right. It's
okay.
like, for example, I'll give you an example. For example, XLY.
Okay.
XLY is an ETF. It's basically the entire S&P 500.
I'm looking right now.
Me too.
XLY. Go ahead.
Other than I'm a baby.
It's okay.
Other than the TD Ameritrade, what are the better where to get started? When I want to get started, like where is it better to start? Other
brokerages.
Yes.
We kind of touched on it a little bit earlier. I suggest that you get one account from each brokerage and just kind of play around on them because it's all about your preference. There are some features, I'm sure, I haven't found it yet, but I'm sure there are some features that TD Ameritrade doesn't have that E-Trade or Charles Schwab or somebody else might have. So, but the only way for you to kind of find that out is if you have accounts in all of those and compare and contrast the pros and cons of those.
Okay, and I heard y'all mention Robinhood, so it's like Robinhood, Acorn, are all those also good apps?
One more time.
I heard y'all mention Robinhood, so it's like Robinhood, Acorn. Are those also good apps to start on?
Acorn is good.
Yeah.
Okay. Acorns is good as far as passive investing.
Yeah.
You're doing it passively. That's how I started out before I got actively into the market.
Okay.
I was investing through Acorns passively for like a year or two.
Okay.
Yeah. I tell people this all the time. It's more so like what you want to do. So Robinhood for day trading is terrible. It's very dangerous to day trade on Robinhood. It's kind of like rolling the dice. But as far as investing is the way to go because you can just on Robinhood you can swipe, buy your stock, and just leave it alone. So it really just depends on like what you want to do.
Okay.
Yeah, Robinhood is not a good trading app. First of all, you only have 3 trades a week.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be careful. You'll get flagged for pattern trading quick on Robinhood. And like he said, it's terrible for trading because the charts be delayed.
Yeah, think about
You can't get in and out quick enough on Robinhood.
Mm-hmm. I think it's about a 10, 15-minute delay on Robinhood. But it's like that. It's actually like that on Thinkorswim too. If you just open up the account and never turn on live quotes, because it's for investing, so investors don't need to see live quotes. They're gonna buy at whatever price that they want to buy at.
Right. You might have to upgrade for that, right?
Yeah, you got to turn on level 2 quotes.
Yeah, you got to go to level 2. Yeah, like I was saying earlier about the ETFs. Like for example, XLY. XLY is consumer discretionary.
What do you mean?
Those are companies that let me show you. Let me see some of the companies that they hold. Some of their holdings like Amazon, Home Depot, Nike, Lowe's, Starbucks, Target.
It's a lot of companies that people buy stuff from. Is that what you're
like retail stores.
Like retail stores. So if you buy this one ETF, you have exposure to all these companies. Amazon, Home Depot, Nike, Lowe's. You have exposure to all these companies at one time.
I'm looking at their all-time chart right now. This thing is crazy. All-time low, $15. Its current price, or it topped out at $161.
See the growth?
Oh yeah.
See the growth? You buy if you buy ETFs consistently.
That's why
ETFs have an annual growth rate of 8 to 11% yearly. That's good money.
I'm waiting for another market dip so I can get in on some of these ETFs. I missed.
Do you guys think we're gonna have another dip due with the pandemic and the new strain? Because that's what I'm kind of.
Oh yeah.
Me personally, yeah. Yeah, me personally, I think so. But you're long-term investing, so just buy on the dip.
Yeah, we'll always have a dip. Dips are a necessary part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
One thing we know stocks go up and we know stocks go down.
Mm-hmm.
Like clockwork.
We got about 20 more minutes. I'm going to leave it open. I want to only do this for an hour.
It's like clockwork. The key is, when they go down, what do you do? For a lot of people,
they panic.
And they sell.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the strategy. Because the strategy is to buy low and sell high. If you sell on the dip, then you're doing the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
So if I know I have a great business and I see this company and I see a dip, that just triggers me to buy more. Because I know companies go up and they go down and they come back up. So if I buy on the dip, when it comes back up, where I had 10 shares, now I got 10. Now I got 20.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I always think like your level of risk is important, like knowing that, because that also helps you decide like what type of trading or investing you want to do. Because if you panic when what you're holding dips and you sell it, like Jermaine said, you're doing the exact opposite of what you need to be doing. So knowing your risk level is very important too when you're deciding what you want to invest in.
Yeah, Chanel, that's what I had to do with those penny stocks, because sometimes I do get a little antsy when it started going down. And keep in mind, if a penny stock was 30 cents and it came down to $1, it can go back to that 30 cents.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes that just put me a stop loss on it.
Mm.
You see, this is why I'm primarily a long-term investor. Like I do short-term trade as well, because I like the best of both worlds. I'm kind of like in the middle. But the longer you hold positions, the more you mitigate your risk.
Say that
if
again.
I know that I'm going to be holding on the Carnival Cruise for the next 10 years, I can weather through the little storm, the downtrends that they're going through temporarily.
Yep.
If I'm holding on to Delta, if I'm holding on to airlines right now, airlines, it's like a 10-year play. 5 to 10 years.
Yep.
So if I find a Delta a great business, an airline company, and I identify this as a great business, I'm buying right now while it's low, while it's cheap.
Bitcoin
Because
just
I
broke.
intend to hold it for 10 years. Now, if I'm looking at a trade watch it, I intend to hold it for a year, under a year. I might not be looking at the airline sector. Because now, my risk. It's all about your risk mitigation. How long are you intending to hold this business?
Great point.
Like me, I'm a buy and hold. If I get a hold to a company like Microsoft, Apple, I'm holding them companies. Tesla, I'm holding them. Tesla has grown over 800% over the past year. Why not hold it? That's through all the volatility, all the dips, all the rises and falls. It's still up 800%. It's up 540% since April during the pandemic.
Anybody got any more questions? Sir finally came back.
I do.
Yeah, man. My bad.
Oh, my question is for Jermaine. Are there any other ETFs that you're looking at? Because I want to start watching those.
Oh man, there's so many. VTI, that's the total stock market. That's every company.
VTI?
VTI.
Okay.
VOO. If you in the EVs, look at Drive, DRIV. Look at TAN, TAN. If you like tech, look at XLK.
You moving fast, man. I'm trying to catch on.
Yeah, and Siri keeps correcting
Right, I
them.
need a repetition on all of
I stopped that drive.
I get going, man. I get going. Just slow me down.
Do you have like some of these posted somewhere on social media? Maybe we can just look like at a post you made or something, because you blew them off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually you can follow my link. I have his links in my bio, my social media, my Facebook page, and I have an investment group, Black Wealth Builders, on Facebook. Just go in the search bar and search Black Wealth Builders and Associates. I try to throw little nuggets out there, regular.
You the ETF man.
I got a question too at the finish.
Go ahead, go for it.
Alright, so like my question is, because I kind of pretty much understand the long-term stocks. Pretty much throw your bread in there, kind of forget about it, but still pay attention to what's going on in the news and everything. But then with the short term, because I want to do long term, just to keep up with the short term. What is y'all advice for really spotting really good short term investments?
Say that one more time. I didn't catch the end of your question.
What's your advice for really keep spotting spotting out, really picking out good short term investments, quick plays?
Yeah. And Jermaine, I'm sure you can kind of expound upon this a little bit too. Me, I use a stock scanner more so for stocks that are moving intraday. Anything over 10% is how I set it. The price doesn't necessarily matter to me.
Anything over 10%, what that mean? Because I'm kind of new to this.
Yeah. Do you know what a stock scanner is or no?
I think it's some shit. You got to pay for them joints, right?
No. What platform do you use to trade off of?
I use Robinhood.
Get off of Robinhood, man.
Yeah, I just seen something that said pretty much go to Webull.
Yeah, Webull has a built-in stock scanner. That's one of the scanners I use actually. So I have an account with Webull, but I don't trade off of it. Everything is Thinkorswim and TD Ameritrade. But yeah, they have a stock scanner on there that pretty much shows you everything that's running up from blue chip stocks to penny stocks, everything.
And that really And that is it in layman's time, or is it like some shit I really need to like study also to like really understand what they're talking about?
No. If you want to, right now, I can kind of walk you through it because that was the purpose of this. I like the questions too, but I kind of want to show people like how to find stocks and like what I look for when I'm day trading. So if
Right.
do you have Webull on your phone now?
Nah, I literally just matter of fact, did I download it already? Yeah, I actually did download it.
Okay, perfect. Go. You have an iPhone or Android?
Yeah,
You have an iPhone. You on here. You have an iPhone. Okay, open up Webull and go to the markets button.
Okay, go to the markets. Well, I see the watch list.
It's the one. It's like right next to it.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
And that's the scanner right there. Do you see? You might have to like move it around a little bit, but it should say top gainers, most active, top losers, and best performing industry.
Yeah, got the list, the active high ETFs.
Yeah. So the top gainers and the top losers are the ones that I look at the most. But if you want to
watch the trade.
Say it again, yeah. And
watch the trade.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know anything about like technical analysis or anything like that, but start studying how to read charts, and that's your best friend, man.
Because that's another thing too. Like I was like, it's weird because I jumped into Forex before doing this, and that's how I got kind of familiar with some of the terminology that's similar to the stock market trade. So yeah, like with the candles and the charts and shit. So I kind of know a little bit of that. But yeah,
so, it's all the same. You just playing with a different instrument. It's all the same. You still gonna have to learn how to read the charts, but I pretty much simplify it. And like I said, I'm gonna make YouTube videos and stuff like that next year and put as much information as I can out there because in my eyes, I feel like education is free. So
that's a fact. YouTube University.
Yes, sir. That's how I learned.
That's pretty much how I really stepped into this stock market shit now. Like, yeah. Because I'm only 26. I ain't really know nothing about none of this before, like, probably a couple months ago. Yeah.
YouTube is your friend. Yeah. I learned everything I know off YouTube and a few books.
Oh, I'm gonna drop a website on y'all too. Investopedia.com. They have too much information on there in my eyes, but they got a lot of information from what is a stock to debt to income ratios and everything. They have everything on there, and they constantly updating the website too. Investopedia.com.
Facts, because a big thing for beginners is the terminology.
Yeah.
Once you learn the terminologies, you can kind of better understand. You can get a better grasp of what people talking about. Mm-hmm. So that's why I would start learning the terminology. Investopedia is great. It's a wealth of knowledge on there. I use that all the time.
Yep. Anybody else got any questions? Anybody else?
I do. And thank you for saying what you guys just said about, knowing the terminology. And, sir, you asked some of the same things I was going to ask. But talking about terminology, what is contract? What does that mean? And so I currently have a Robinhood account. Was thinking more long-term, and I'm still going to do long-term, but looking at, some of the more, the short-term stuff. So wanting to get into that. But what is contract? What does that mean?
I'm about to break it down to you right now. And I don't wanna have it in my terms. I'm gonna just read it straight off of the internet for you.
Okay.
Yeah. And it brings me straight to Investopedia too. So
and Investopedia also give you examples too. So.
Yeah, they got like little corny cartoon videos on there. So an option contract, an option contract is defined as a promise which meets the requirements for the formal of the contract and limits the promisor's power to revoke the offer. An option contract is a type of contract that protects an offeree from an offer's ability to revoke their offer to engage in a contract. Does that make sense?
It does. And so is that more for short term? Is like you would buy like stock at a certain price and then you agree to hold it until your contract ends?
You got it. So they have terms for the contracts, right? So now contracts are meant to be leverage for your investment. So I forgot who was somebody was saying that they invest, they want to start trading but they only invest now. So contracts are supposed to be used for leverage for your investment position. So an example, if a stock is at 5 with the contract, you set a strike price for 10. You can sell the contracts at 10, take the profits, and somebody would then have control of those 100 shares. But I don't want to go too like deep into it right now because this is supposed to be like a basic little. But that's the basis of it. Is I'm buying at this price, and then my contract is guaranteeing that I could sell it at a different price.
Okay. Thank you for explaining that because I hear people using that term all the time, and I'm new. I'm like super new.
Yeah.
And so for me, it just gives me some context.
Yeah.
Right. A contract gives it basically is what it says. It's a contract. It's basically an agreement for you to purchase it, and contracts always work in per 100 shares.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm looking at a company, for example, Apple. If I buy currently Apple is trading at around 127 a share, something like that, for one share. Mm-hmm. I could buy if I wanted to buy 100 shares of Apple. Think of how much I would have to pay to have ownership of that 100 shares, as opposed to a contract. I would pay a lot less to own that contract to control 100 shares. I don't own a share, but I can control 100 shares at a time per contract. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So say, for example, a company like Apple, they're currently trading at 127, right? Mm-hmm. Say I felt real bullish on Apple. You know what bullish means, right?
No. What does that mean?
Bullish is when you have optimism in the company and you have confidence that their stock price is going to go up.
Okay.
The opposite of that is bearish. A bear. Okay. When you have pessimism in the company and you think that the share price is going to go down.
Okay.
So say you're feeling bullish on Apple, you feel the price is going to continue to go up. They're currently trading at 127. Say you set a strike price for 130, right? Mm-hmm. You're basically saying you think that the price is going to go up. I'll lock in a contract right now, an agreement to purchase 100 shares at $127.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And can you break it down a little bit? So, now that it gets to that point, your contract is met and everything. So that's why people trade these contracts, because they want to actually exercise the contract versus just trading the contract.
Right, because now once Apple hits 130, it hits that strike price. That contract now has value.
Okay. So
you're not trading the stock, you're trading the contract, you're trading the right to purchase those 100 shares at 127.
Yeah. So if I buy that contract from Jermaine, now I can exercise the right for that contract.
Right. If Apple's price shoots up to 140, I can come in and buy that contract from you, which was an agreement to buy 100 shares at 127. Okay. At 130. At 130, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So now I want to buy that contract from you. That contract is where the value is. Mm-hmm. You don't have to exercise the contract. You can sell the contract to someone else, to another buyer.
Yeah.
Who in turn, they may hold on to the contract and let it increase in value, and they may resell it to somebody else who may in turn exercise the contract and buy those 100 shares.
So question. So if I own the contract and then I wanted to exercise the contract, that means I would need to purchase those shares?
No. Oh,
Right.
yeah. I'm sorry.
Right. You can
Yeah, okay.
exercise the contract, which is a good strategy if you're looking to buy a large quantity of shares, like 100 shares at a time, and get them at a good price. That would be a good strategy to exercise the contract.
You mentioned about you kind of touched on it on your original question with the expiration dates and like investing with contracts. Now this is a little bit more advanced, but it's not complicated at all. So have you ever looked at the options chain at all?
No, I have not. No, I haven't.
What platform are you trading on?
You know what? So I'm on Robinhood.
Okay.
And so I've purchased some stock and with the intent to just hold it and not do anything. And so, but like I said, I keep hearing people talk about contracts.
Yeah.
And so I'm interested also in short term. And so looking at that, but wanted to learn before I just, buy some stuff.
So I'm going to tell you, like I tell everybody else, if you black, get off of Robinhood.
I'm black.
It's not going to help you. It's not going to help you especially if you're like active with your trading, because there's a lot of features that they don't have and just a lot of things that is just missing from the app. Even as a paid subscriber to Robinhood, you're still missing a lot of stuff. So get off of Robinhood. Get a couple brokerage accounts. I know for a fact they may have changed it, but E-Trade, you might have to put some money into it in order to like keep it open. But as far as, because I have an empty account with TD Ameritrade now, it's been empty for about a year and they haven't closed it. So TD Ameritrade is good. I'm an advocate for TD Ameritrade. I know a lot of people that like E-Trade, Charles Schwab, and what's the other one? Those are like the top three that I can think of now. But get an account with all three of those. Put like, I don't know, $50, $100 in it. But back to what I was saying about the investment part of with options. There's a strategy called leaps where
leaps.
Yeah. So you know that contracts expire, right, for options?
Yes.
But you can go out more than a year, more than a month, because you have weeklies and monthlies. You can go out a year and maybe even 2 or sometimes even 3 years and kind of hold those contracts for it to be at that expiration date. And you don't necessarily have to hold a contract. Like, let's say you bought a contract today or you can't buy it today, but let's say on Monday you buy a contract and on Tuesday you're in profit. You don't have to wait until the contract is at expiration date for you to sell the contract.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. But when
do you? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, so in your analogy, so if you bought a contract that you're going to put it out 1 or 2 years, so you could also sell those contracts before the 1 or 2 years, or
Correct.
You have to wait.
Correct. No, it's
days.
Yeah, you can.
Right now.
Yeah.
Right now, for example, I have a contract on Apple right now, and the expiration expires in 2022 January. Okay. It's already up almost $300. Monday morning when the market open, I can sell it. Just take the profit.
Yep.
Or since my expiration is so far out, I can just let it keep running and let the value keep going up. Yep. As long as Apple keeps going up in share price, which it will.
So Jermaine, so that's part of the strategy then for you is like holding it, but also where you need to do the research of the market, so that more than likely Apple's going to keep going up. So then you would just hold.
Right, I just hold it. I would hold it until typically when you're doing options. Before you even buy a contract, you should have
a plan,
an exit strategy.
Always have a plan before you buy anything.
Always know what the exits are before you enter any bill.
Yeah, for the profit and the loss. I was just talking to my group about that on what was that? Sometime last week. I want to say Wednesday or Tuesday. Always have a plan before you even buy.
Right.
Okay.
So you're already looking at the chart to see, okay, if it goes to this point, I know that I'm willing to lose this much money versus the potential downside of me losing more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So kind of like the bear.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Bearish now.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
There you go.
Thank you. This is helpful.
I want to keep going. Yeah. But I just planned on doing this for an hour. So Jermaine, if you want to take over, I'm a dip out.
Cool. I can go for like 30 more minutes.
Okay. I appreciate all of you for showing up, all of the questions. And hopefully this can be a weekly thing.
Oh yeah, thanks for the joy. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Make sure y'all follow Arthur and Jermaine on social media.
Yeah, definitely. Give me all the follows.
If you haven't.
Yeah, I need it.
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
Tell them about your group, man, before you leave out. Give them
I have a paid group on Facebook. I charge $100 a month for stock alerts, and we also have like discussions like this inside the group. So if you guys are interested, just contact me and we can chop it up about it.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Peace.